Hello, everybody. It's your very best pal, Calvin Brody, coming at you with a new video. So this is a game called Dauntless, which didn't come as a recommendation. I missed a recommendation. It didn't come as a recommendation. It was somebody talking about it on my Facebook feed, and I'm always on the lookout for new games to play, and so I thought I'd give it a shot. And so I'm going to bring you along. I started it last night, like real late. I don't really remember all that much about it. So we're going to go do some nonsense here. But really, I wanted to... the main point of this video, aside from watching me dick around on video games, was to talk about a story I'd heard today that had to do with Star Wars. It never fails. Star Wars just disappoints me nonstop. And so what had happened was there was an interview or something with the guy who played Admiral Ackbar in Return of the Jedi, an actor by the name of Tim Rose. And he talked about, he was also, Admiral Ackbar appeared briefly as well, if you don't remember, in The Last Jedi. And he was he was on the bridge of the starship, the capital ship that Princess Leia was also on when it was attacked by members of the First Order led by Princess Leia's son Kylo Ren. And the viewport of the bridge, or, you know, the wall, essentially, of the bridge, is blown out by missiles, and everyone's fucking sucked out into space, including Princess Leia. Oh, no. But no, luckily, she uses the Force innately and pulls herself back in and is able to maintain the atmosphere around her so she doesn't die. But Admiral Ackbar, of course, is not so lucky. Admiral Ackbar is not a vacuum breather. He's an amphibious creature. So, just like anybody else, he basically kind of popped off screen. And so Tim Rose talks about how at the end of filming Star Wars The Last Jedi, I just used something shit. Director Rian Johnson called him back up in front of the camera, specifically requested his presence in front of the camera. And Tim was kind of excited. Tim was excited well, yeah, I mean excited, or he wasn't scared, I guess. He wondered why. And so he mentions wondering if perhaps it was to thank him for being what he called a heritage character, which was somebody that they brought in to the sequel trilogy from the original trilogy for the express purpose of killing off, much as they did with Jedi Master Luke Skywalker, much as they did with roguish smuggler Han Solo. And so he wondered if was this going to be some sort of thank you? Was it going to be some sort of crew gift? Was it going to be something worth remembering? Something to bring his 30+ year career of acting to the ending he felt it deserved. He felt that he had I don't believe he actually uses the words, but essentially you get the feeling that he feels that Ackbar has become something of kind of a cultural phenomenon. As you know, there's the memes out there, and everyone enjoys quoting the "it's a trap" and this. And I mean, Ackbar on its own, Admiral Ackbar was a very minor character. Of course, we do know and love and appreciate him as a hero of the rebellion. After for having been on Home One and directed the attack against the second Death Star. But essentially, I mean, I think if you put all of his screen time together, I can't imagine it would be more than like 6 minutes. A couple lines here and there, but he was a character that was portrayed well, that a lot of people liked, and so he goes. So Tim Rose goes in front of the camera. Hey, here I am. I'm Tim Rose. You guys wanted to see me, and he says that they handed him a sign, a Millennium Falcon sign. Now, again, I don't know if it was necessarily a sign, like Millennium Falcon parking only, but I wondered it would make more sense for how it's described if it was a clapper, and not like like the clapper, like a clapper, like take two, and so they hand him this thing, this Millennium Falcon clapper or sign or whatever it is, and they go, hey, can you go get all your nonsense back on? Which, I mean, the Admiral Ackbar costume, I mean, it's not... I don't think it's prosthetics, right? So it was essentially, like a rebel admiral costume, and then like fin hands, not thin hands, John Boyega, but fin hands like a fish, and then the giant stupid mask, right? So I don't think it's it's not like Freddy makeup. Can you put that back on and come out here and stand in front of the camera and say it's a wrap? Yeah. So, for those of you who didn't see Return of the Jedi, Admiral Ackbar says when they figure out it's a trap when they attack the second Death Star, he exclaims even, it's a trap. Now, in the, so let's see, that was 1983. It's now 2019. So was that 36 years? In the 36 years since that movie has come out, since that line was first uttered, there has been no shortage of plays on that, including it's a wrap. Other things like T-shirts and things on the internet. That's Ackbar Snack Bar, and it's him. The logo is him saying it's a wrap, or the one he's standing in front of the toilet and he says it's a crap. Do you get it? Because he said trap in the movie, but in this we it's a different word that rhymes with trap, and so he talks. So he does it because he's a corporate shill. So he does it, and he talks about how it's a little melodramatic, but he's an actor, so I can forgive him that. All kinds of parts of this interview were melodramatic, but so he does it. And he says, when I did it, I was literally, he says literally, which like people say literally all the time, but like, if you say literally, expect me to take what you say literally. He says I was literally in tears behind the mask. It's like, it's not funny, a grown man crying, but, at the end of the day, he talks about how, okay, I guess I can't heal here. He talks about how he felt personally snubbed and humiliated by Rian Johnson, and it's like, who can't get on board with that? If you've seen The Last Jedi, you feel snubbed and humiliated by Rian Johnson. I gotta revive myself here. And again, he's a melodramatic about it. The end of my 30. He's not even British. The end of my 30-year career. The last thing that Ackbar said before he went into the box was, "It's a wrap." And it's not funny. Admiral Ackbar deserved better than what he got. His hero's death was instead given to and wasted by Admiral Pink Hair Haldo. I'm sure she has it's in her real name. Her first name is Amy Lynn or something like that. Haldo. A character that you meet and despise in this same movie, the entire movie, who serves no purpose aside from she's a woman, so she should be there. And it's he thought the character deserved better than that, and anyone who saw The Last Jedi and also really liked Return of the Jedi thought he deserved better than that. And that's what's even worse is of course if you've ever got into the comment section of an internet video or a website, that they're the worst fucking place in the world. So of course basically every comment is like telling him to not be a crybaby. Ackbar was just this bit character who didn't matter, and he shouldn't be so like wrapped up in himself. I think one guy even says Ackbar was always meant to be a meme. Which, like, in 1983, there were memes, but they weren't memes. In 1983, there were fads because it took so long for information to make information and things to make its way around the world. Now, anything can be a meme because it takes 5 seconds to hear about something. And it's terrible. It's very obvious that Tim Rose enjoyed playing the character. He seems to have felt, perhaps rightfully so, that Ackbar found a place in the lexicon, in the cultural identity of. I mean, not necessarily a generation. That makes it sound so dramatic, but certainly anybody who grew up watching the Star Wars trilogy knows who Admiral Ackbar is. Knows it's a trap. And even if you didn't necessarily love the Star Wars movies, as you've grown up through the 2000s, have grown to appreciate Admiral Ackbar as a meme, and that's fine. But for these people to tell this guy you shouldn't feel slighted when, perhaps on the one hand it sounds like he really expected some sort of like really big send off, but like again, this is what I'm saying. Like I can see both sides of it. Like on the one hand, it's like you were just Admiral Ackbar. You weren't Luke Skywalker, you weren't Lando, you were a bit part, but at the same time, having your last hurrah end with a meaningless death followed by this schlocky, isn't it? It's a funny thing, you guys, because it was a funny thing. You get it? It run. I understand how that can rub you the wrong way, and so that's it. Admiral Ackbar, rest in peace. He played, of course, a very large role in the Battle of Endor. We also went on to see him assist in the reformation of Rogue Squadron under Wedge Antilles in the novel series by Michael A. Stackpole, which is fantastic. He went on, I believe, to command during the Blackfeet crisis against the Yavitha. Almost positive he took a pretty important role in the Yuzhan Vong War. I believe he dies at the end of that. I think that's where his career ends, which is actually right around chronologically this time, right around The Last Jedi. So I guess it makes sense, but he dies. I don't think he dies a hero's death there either. I think he dies of old age. I think he takes part in a very important battle in one book in the series, the Battle of Ebak 9. Where the Yuzhan Vong suffer a crushing defeat for the first time in the Yuzhan Vong War. It's a big deal. And then I think he dies at the end of like the last book, where it's like, oh, all this stuff happens, and then the whole cast is celebrating because Luke and Leia and Han and Lando and all them have still, they've had adventures, and so they're a family. They're a literal family. Then someone comes in and is like, oh yeah, Admiral Ackbar died, and they're like, oh, Admiral Ackbar died, but. Whatever. If you were going to have Admiral Ackbar back in the movies, which the whole point was for people to go, oh, Admiral Ackbar's there. I remember Admiral Ackbar. I want to go see how they use him. You mean abuse him. Abuse him. Which is what I fear they're going to do with fucking Lando. Oh, they brought Lando back. Hey, look at that. Right up until they fucking break him down and then kill him. So, be ready for that. Be ready for him to do some sort of toxic masculinity. He's going to try to come on and, hey there, pretty lady, it's me, Lando Calrissian. And then it'll be some ham-fisted Mara Jade for fan service. Hey, you guys, it's Mara Jade. But she's going to be plus-size because, you guys, Star Wars is for everyone. And she's going to get real close to him like she's going to kiss him. But he was actually talking to the lady behind her, the pretty one. But that's okay. And she's going to go, I'm not your plaything, or something like that, and like shank him, or something like 1 in 4 women are going to get sexually assaulted before the end of this movie. What do you think of that, Lando Calrissian? And he's going to go, I can't believe you stabbed me in my solar plexus. Oh my god, I should have stuck with making love to droids. Alright, that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. WLWstudios.com, home of the Midnight Jury. The flagship podcast with myself and my co-host Mike Noringonger. You can find both of us on Twitter at Midnight Jury. We also each have our own Facebooks. Calvin Brody, that's Brody, Brodie, as well as Mike Noringonger, Nor Ingonger. Please find us. The Midnight Jury has its own Facebook page as well. Hit us up on any of those. We love to converse with you guys. We love to get ideas. We love to hear your feedback. If you would like to have a more direct hand in the direction of the stuff coming out, the content coming out, please you are more than welcome, and it would certainly be appreciated. Head on over to www.patreon.com/Midnight Jury. There is a $3, a $5, and an $8 tier. Anything that can be spared helps. Anything helps. Everything helps. We're really we're hitting the. Is it afterburners? Afterburners make you go faster. I'm not a pilot. We're hitting the things that make you go faster, you guys. It's been 6 years we've been doing this, and now we're trying to amp it up a little bit more. We're getting better equipment. We're getting better ideas. We're getting better. We're just getting better. I know you can't tell from this video, but that's because I'm just starting out with this stuff. You listen to the podcast; it's actually pretty good. So again, if you like the idea of original content, if you dislike the idea of censorship, if you feel that essentially content should exist specifically and solely based on its appreciation in the market, and that should be only what defines what is out there and what is not, please become a patron of ours. Please become a member of our Midnight Jury, and help us help you help us. And that's pretty much it. Thank you everybody for watching. I sincerely hope each and every one of you has a pleasant evening, and I have some more videos coming soon. We're gonna have some more stuff coming out, guys. I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Take it easy.